Intuition is the primary tool with which we're going to divine the messages of the tarot. It's a holy mechanism, like a universe in your hands, and serves to you vast knowledge with one aim, that is to become a better version of myself. This stele of revealing shows the formula for the new eon. This mythology, coupled with the tree of life, the Kabbalistic mathematical expression of evolution, is the entire key to understanding the Thoth Tarot deck. The Thoth Tarot are based on a model called the Golden Dawn. This knowledge system was, again, for the benefit of knowing the self. It wasn't for divining future paths or approaches to action, although on a limited scale. It could very well be used for that. And as you look into these cards, you'll notice the geometric expression more and more when you understand that these cards were specifically created to express these particular ideas. We know it's not a god and a goddess per se, but actually something much more mathematical and precise going on here. Shiva and Shakti are beautiful images. There's a lot of great art and a lot of great poetry around this, but in the end, we have to give up our attachment to myth. At some point, we're going to have to become quiet. This is expressed in the stele of revealing and the book of the law. And we have to understand love, same as in non-dual tantra, as an active force, according to my will. It's the entire secret. And every image on the tarot, every path, every intelligence is an expression of this love and this will. You'll see that the evolution of the tarot into the Thoth deck has brought about some very, very big changes. And hence, if you're working with the Thoth deck, then the other decks become a little bit confusing. Or if you've been working with the other decks and suddenly you are in the Thoth deck, you may be a little bit confused because there are some serious changes. And one of these changes is expressed in how the court cards are symbolized. Until now, every deck you'll look at has been expressed with a king, queen, knight, and page. But in Thoth, the king is gone in favor of a knight, and the page is replaced by a princess, the knight being replaced by a prince. And there's a reason for this great Kabbalistic romance. Not just the court cards, but several trumps have undergone very serious changes, both numerically as well as symbolically. But the big changes between 11 and 8 and 11 places on the tree of life, as well as their names. And then the 14 card, temperance, becomes art. The last judgment becomes the new eon. This is what I was talking about just a few minutes ago. We're not raising death, we're recognizing life. And hence we come to the concept of the vikalpas, the stories, the great narrative that we create inside of our mind. And we get back to the fundamental idea that the universe was created from a thought, which translated into a letter and a number, and then a word. And since all of these numbers and letters are finite, all of these numbers and letters have some kind of relationship with everything else too. So these stories that I create are really dangerous because I become emotionally invested in stories that I've created that may or may not be true. And hence the entire reality is created, and I get lost. So the frontispiece, or the back of each card, shows the rose cross, the Hermetic rose cross. And taken together with the tree of life, we have the entire table of contents of the tarot, if we can read these symbols at a glance. It's the entire mystery of creation of the universe, how that universe is sustained, and the place of woman within that design. And this is our ultimate goal, to be able to just look at the symbol and intuit the knowledge immediately. If you were to look deeply within the rose center of the rose cross, you would find a point, everything emanating from the point. And that point is symbolized as a cube. Within the cube, you see the point. And when that point decided to invest itself, knowingly and willfully, in that great love and emanate, it emanated in 3 directions, back and forth, up and down, left and right. And now we have 3 dimensions. When the cube unfolds to show you the cross of being at the center, it continues to unfold into the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, the elements, the alchemical symbols. And you can see very lightly in the background that the unfolded cube, it doesn't unfold one-dimensionally, but itself unfolds three-dimensionally. The rosy cross is the table of contents of the tarot. Every symbol on this cross explains the alchemical primes correlating with the three gunas, the Thelemic law, knowing, daring, willing, and being silent, the four powers of the Sphinx, and then the Latin inscribed behind the cross. And this is the formula of the dying god. How did the Roman Empire corrupt the Greek teachings and produce symbols and words and stories that would tether the human soul and bring us under control for the paradigm that they would introduce in their conquest of civilization? Ask anybody today, what does INRI stand for? They will immediately recall that cross with the dying God crucified upon it, and they will say, Jesus Nazarenus Rex Judeorum, Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. Yeah. According to the Hermeticists, INRI doesn't stand for that. It stands for Igni Natura Renovatur Integra. All of nature is restored by fire. And this is how it would be applied in the tarot. The court cards, it's really important to understand that each knight in the Thoth deck is the fire element. The queen represents the water element. Princes represent the air element. And the princesses represent the earth element. As well, the aces each contain within themselves the four court cards. The ace being the point of potentiality from which Keter expresses into existence. It expresses through its court cards, each court card having an elemental affinity. So within the ace are the elements too. Within the ace of discs, you have every other element being expressed as well. Potentiality to express into everything. Humongous, humongous power.